What's up, YouTube, and welcome back. Just a little disclaimer, I have an exam coming up, so it's going to be on Friday. So that being said, this week's vlog is going to be a little bit more toned down. I'm not going to be hanging out with anybody. I'm not going to be doing anything like that, just because I got to study, I got to pass. Getting a dog as a medical student, and especially when you live by yourself, might not be the best idea, but for me it was perfect, it was fine, and it's really all about managing your time if that's what you want to do. So when on our daily walks, Luna and I walk 4 times, and every single one of those times I'm always doing something productive. Now, whether that be I'm calling someone, whether I'm looking through flashcards, whether I'm listening to podcasts, really it doesn't matter. The point is that I'm using that time wisely. Well, of course there's a limit to what you can do, and that depends on what you're doing in your life. But I think that what's really important is, in my favorite, is the podcast.
Right, guys, this is what I got. Looks so good, but it's definitely not good for you. And I can see why being a medical student and studying being your life, it could really interfere with your eating habits. I know Luna wants some for sure.
When you're spending hours and hours doing something, it becomes really difficult. It's especially to concentrate, right? So I've been studying in my house for a couple days now, and it's really hard. I'm starting to lose focus, and this is when I need to be most focused. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of money, get a coffee at Starbucks, sit here for a couple hours, and do some work. All right, so I really advocate changing the scenery often as much as possible so your brain doesn't get used to, and relax.
Just cooking up some chicken, gotta study hard and eat well. Making some potatoes, cut them up, and then some breaded chicken over here. And Luna's over here, she's smelling the goodness. She knows there's something good here. Don't touch this, honey, it's hot. Alright, this is the finished product. I personally like my potatoes nice and crispy a little bit, and I couldn't wait anymore. I actually didn't have any flour or egg in order to make that and make the breading, so I had to improvise, but figured it out. It's good.
Alright guys, I had mentioned before that I have a block exam, so essentially 8 weeks worth of material in an exam form, and it's only like 100-ish questions. And so I think I was a little naive. I would plan to work out every single day this week still, and I think that this is an undergrad. I could do that then, where I knew what I was doing, I knew how to study. This is a completely different ball game. I'm still trying to figure it out, and so we haven't really gotten to work out yet. We will, but it's not working right now. I have a lot of material to cover, and so I haven't been able to do that. That being said, I think that the plan I have made is definitely useful, is definitely will work. It's just really a matter of implementing it at the beginning and not like in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the exam. And I think that that will make the difference, and that will make me have the time to be able to do that. After the exam though, there's essentially a whole week that is called synthesis. We don't do much in terms like of school. We're always there. We always have lectures to go to. It's a lot of the human side of medicine. So, but in terms of like learning and having to memorize things, it's none of that. There's no homework, very little homework if at all, and so it's great. It really gives you a time to relax and really decompress. And so I think that's the point of it. So looking forward to that, because that's going to be a jam-packed week with a lot of fun activities to do.
Alright guys, it's time to eat. Just gave Luna some of her food, so she's happy. But it's time for us to eat, and this is what we got. We got some ribeyes that we're gonna make, and we're gonna make some vegetables also in the oven, and then 150 grams of rice. And then this is about a pound of the ribeye, but I'm not gonna eat it all at once, and we're not gonna add much crazy stuff to it. Keeping it simple: pepper, salt, maybe some onion, and maybe some garlic if I need to. But that's about it. It's time to put them in. Beautiful. Now we wait. They're super thin, so it won't take very long, and that's great because we're hungry. As a kid, we just tended not to use the oven. We just cooked on the stovetop. But now being here and having to study, I felt like it gives me the ability to multitask, so I can be cooking this stuff down here. Whoop, it's hot. And then I can be doing a couple questions over here at the same time. And so that's just really, really helpful for me. And that's one of the primary reasons why I do cook in the oven. So this is what finished products look like. The broccoli was a lot worse than I expected, but I gotta eat my vegetables, and plus we're low on food. Meats were greasy like expected, and I usually like to eat my things with sauce. So the A1 for any type of meat, and then the Red Hot for anything else. Legitimately, pizza, rice, meats, it doesn't matter. Red Hot, best sauce ever, period. We have our training, Luna's training that we have to get to. Hey Luna, come here. Hey. But we have our training today. Hopefully it goes better than last time. Right, Luna? Well, all right, let's do it. All right, we're doing our 5-minute reset. Luna's been doing pretty well. It's a little hard, super hard actually. It's kind of heartbreaking to see all these other dogs playing in the middle. You know, like maybe they don't like to socialize as much, so they're slow, they don't get there. But Luna doesn't even want to go. I mean, she does want to go to the middle and attack the dogs, which is not the point. That's not what we're trying to do. So it's hard. It's hard. That's hard on me. All right, Luna and I made it back from PetSmart. Her class went okay. Like I mentioned in the little minute break, that's kind of disheartening that she can't even go there. She can't be trusted. She does snap at all dogs essentially that even get remotely close to her, or she even goes after some dogs at times. But what we really realized, or the trainer realized there, is that she doesn't do eye contact. She does not like it. When I call her and I tell her to sit and I tell her look, she gives me a hard time about it. She doesn't really give me eye contact. When she does, it's like a second. It's like 1/25 of a second. It's like nothing. So we're working on eye contact right now, and it seems like that might be where it stems from. She doesn't feel comfortable, so we're gonna build her confidence, have her do more eye contact, and then hopefully she'll start being okay with other dogs looking at her, because I guess that's one of the most instigating things for her. That's where we are at the moment though, but she's made some progress, to be honest. We are 1 day away from exam, and it's really cold out right now, so I'm almost crying. I want to briefly talk about how I prepared for this exam. My curriculum is divided into blocks. Every block is about 6 to 8 weeks. This block is 8 weeks long, and then it's divided further into weekly topics. For example, we had a topic, week 3 I think it was, where we were learning all microbiology. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, antibacterials, antivirals, antifungals, all that. Then just last week we were learning lymphoma and leukemia. And so that's kind of how it's structured. That being said, every individual day has its own kind of homework. I mean, at this point it's not homework, it's just things you need to know, things you need to review before you can go to class, because if you don't, then class is pointless and there's no point in going. Class is pointless. I'm talking about for me. It's no point in me going when I need to have known all this stuff. And because they go over details, so by the time you go to class, they expect you to know in a pretty good detail. And so every class has a learning objective. So like, what are you supposed to take away from this PowerPoint or this whatever, this slide? And so I usually fill out all the learning objectives for all weeks. After I go ahead and do that, then I can then go to class and I can learn, and they'll be technically reviewing the content twice, once on my own and a second time in class. Then we have weekly quizzes, which, to be honest, they're not so much indicative of how much you learned, but rather how well you took notes, and then can you then regurgitate and find the information to answer the question. Then when there's a couple of days left for the exam, I didn't start soon enough this time, but next time I'm definitely going to start sooner. You review the content. So any sort of breaks that you can get, you obviously are going to review the hard stuff that you know you didn't get, that you know you kind of breezed through it and you're like, whew, wasn't on the quiz, thank gosh. But you didn't know anything about it. And so what I did was I divided the block, essentially 8 weeks worth of material, in about 3 days. Honestly, it was just so much information, and I couldn't get through it all. I ended up covering, I think it was like
2 weeks worth of information per day in order for me to finish in 4 days. And that was still a struggle, to be honest. It was just really difficult. Remember, I said that I wasn't able to finish it in 3 days. I had to use 4 days, and that extra 1 day I could really use it to review it again. Because in my mind, repetition, especially going through it more than once, is going to make me learn it a lot better.
Alright, we're making some nice steaks today. Another ribeye, but it's a lot thicker. And so I don't normally eat this much red meat, but today is one of those days. This week, with finals and everything, with my block final, it's really hard to even get any food. Essentially, I'm stuck with eating what I have, and so normally I eat a lot more chicken and not so much red meat, especially not this much red meat all in once. I think I've had like 3 different types of red meat all in like this week, maybe 4, I can't even remember. Protein good, but not a huge fan of having red meat every day. Just personal preference, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'll figure it out. I'll buy more food. I'll be more prepared next time. But everything because I didn't plan. I underestimated the exam, how much it was. So my fault, but we'll get better at it. The exam is no joke. It's really, really easy to fail if you don't prepare. And watch, this is how much food I have, guys. So I'm thinking about making a grocery run. Essentially, I think there's like some broccoli or something. And then in this run, like, you see how empty this is? We got tortillas, that's about it. And we got some cheese over here. That's essentially it. So, thinking about doing a run maybe to the store soon. I'll kind of show you guys what I get normally. So they are ready. We're making some rice over here because we don't have anything left. And so it's a really bad picture, but they're actually nice and medium. So personally, I like medium. But that'll be what we're gonna have tonight. Alright, so Luna doesn't normally get this, but she hasn't eaten a lot today, and I just felt like, why not, right? I haven't given her as much attention as I could because of the exam, so I'm gonna give her some. Stay. 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 Okay. Oh, she seems to like it.
Alright guys, walking Luna post-exam. I didn't do as well as I wanted. I actually failed, and I just joking, I passed, but I didn't do as well as I wanted. Literally on almost every single question I got wrong, probably 50 to almost 70% of the questions, because we get to the review of the exam because it's on a computer. I was between 50-50 between the right answer. Honestly, it's just really frustrating because I was literally right there. I knew the question, I narrowed it down, I had 2, and then I would pick the right one. And the reason was I didn't have enough information. I didn't know enough to be able to pick the right answer. So I had already talked about this a little bit, but I had scheduled the last 3 days. I was supposed to re-review the information that I had already reviewed once. Or is that twice? I already forgot. But the point is, you have to do repetition, review things more than once, and I didn't. I reviewed them once. And so I had a very superficial idea of what things were, and I think it showed. And I think that if I implemented well this time with enough time, this time those 50-50 questions will be easy gimme questions. Post-exam, we have time. That means we're finally hitting the gym. We're finally going to the gym, all right? And so we're hitting a good long leg workout. I'm gonna hit in another couple exercises just because it's been a long time, and I'm so excited. So I'll be giving commentary throughout my video and explaining my workout. All right, let's do it. So in this clip, I'm essentially just hitting squats, and I haven't hit squats in quite a long time, to be honest. I don't think I hit them in about a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks. That it's been that long since I've been able to squat. And program called for 295 squats, 3 sets of times 3 reps. You know, it seems pretty simple enough, but it was honestly pretty hard. It showed that I hadn't squatted in a while because I wasn't able to complete it. I did 1 set of 295, and then I stopped. I didn't even get to 3 reps. I got to 2 reps, and then I'm like, I can't do this. This is not going to end well. I know my body, so I dropped it down to 275, and I'm like,
it is what it is. And I'm working, and I worked with that throughout, and I still got a good workout in. So consistency is obviously really, really important. But at the same time, you just know your limitations. It's no big deal. I'll get it next time. So I recently changed over from having my accessory be a stiff leg deadlift to now a Romanian deadlift, and so far it's going great. The reason I switched over to Romanian deadlift is because I wanted that extra hamstring and glute feel, that burn. I really enjoy that and I really like that. More than anything, I tried to keep it very controlled, all my reps throughout the entire movements. If it wasn't, then I fix it up on the next set, and it's all about enhancing the muscle mind connection, and I felt that I can do that with a very controlled Romanian deadlift and still make good gains on it. So the program called for bicep curls, and so that's what we did. We picked up 20-pound dumbbells, and we essentially did a double bicep curl, and we really tried to again build that muscle mind connection. But at the same time, we were trying to get a good pump in. We were trying to get good reps in. But since it was 3 sets of failure, so we were going until we essentially failed, we eventually had to do alternating bicep curls. And so I'm not a person that normally does a lot of bicep curls. I don't really believe that you need to do arms to have great arms. I believe in compound lifts, and I honestly only do arms once a week, and I'm talking about biceps. I'm a huge, big advocate of body weight pull ups. Ask anyone, and they'll tell you pull ups are hard. They're not easy. Try a couple, and you'll realize that they are not easy, but they look super easy. More than anything, I think that they are a great exercise for building your lats. And so, in this clip, I'm essentially just doing pull ups until I fail, until I can't do any more pull ups, and I'm doing 3 sets of these, and I'm getting a ridiculous burn because, of course, nothing is easy. The last exercise in our workout is us hitting our quads, and what I'm doing is essentially doing a seated leg extension. And so in the seated leg extension, it's one of my favorites because I feel great activation in my quads, and I feel the burn ridiculously. So I usually just load up 160 on there, and then I just rep it out for 15, and I do a couple sets usually. I believe that because building quad muscle will be a great addition to my sumo deadlift because it's a lot of quad activation as opposed to a regular deadlift. And more than anything, I feel that it'll also help my squat. Maybe not as much, but it'll definitely help my squat, and it'll build some volume in my legs. So, gains.